So why does heartbreak, going through a breakup, the grief, the complicated grief version that comes with a breakup, feel so much harder in the mornings and at night? Now, when clients come to work with me one-to-one or they join the breakup membership, one of the things they're struggling with is the grief that comes with heartbreak or a breakup. They're in the emotional roller coaster. They can't control their overthinking. They are buried deep in the quicksand that is sadness and hurt and anger and feeling numb and missing this person so much and genuinely just feeling like, when is this ever going to stop? But typically what we see is it ramps up in the mornings and in the evenings. And there is lots that we give clients in order to change this. But the most important part of this is awareness and understanding why this happens. Number one, you are typically probably having to hold it together all day. Whether you have kids, whether you go to work, you are having to function to a certain degree and having to hold it together to a certain degree for the whole day. This is like burying a bomb. Because what is happening is all of those things that you have to feel when you grieve, all those emotions, all those fears, all those thoughts, all that anxiety, the overthinking, it doesn't go anywhere all day. You're just keeping it like this, under the lid. And when the evening comes, bang, the lid comes off and then it is completely overwhelming to you. So what we have to do with clients is find, depending on their routine, depending on what they have to do during the day, healthy outlets so that they're not stuffing everything in that bomb that then goes off of a night time. Number two is that you are stuck in what I call the why question cycle. Now, the why question cycle is all of the whys. Why did they do this to me? Why couldn't I have done this? Why are they okay now? Why am I feeling this? Why am I never going to get over this? You name it, the why questions and sometimes even the what if questions come in and they beat you up in the morning and at night. Now, the reason they do this is because you do not have the tools to emotionally regulate. And so the brain's way of trying to keep you safe is creating all of these why and what if questions. Now, naturally, when you don't have the tools to pull yourself out of this, it is like delving into quicksand. The brain will create what I call the overthinking tree, where it starts with one thought and before you know it, you've got 10,000 branches and 100,000 leaves. And actually that becomes very addictive because it's the brain's certainty. It goes over and over and over it, trying to find the little missing piece of information that it thinks is going to make all this better. Although what's actually going to make this better is A, being able to reframe your thoughts, B, being able to emotionally regulate your nervous system and your brain, and C, actually moving through the grief process and not getting stuck here and in turn making it very hard to move through. Number three, when you wake up and your heart feels like it falls into your stomach and the realization hits you once again that you are going through this breakup and this is horrific and this person is no longer with you. Now, this is for a few reasons, but one of the main ones is that the brain is grieving the loss of your routine. Usually in a relationship, you are either with the person in the morning, you have messaged the person in the morning, they have messaged you in the morning, you are seeing them later on. We don't realise how much our romantic relationships have an impact on our morning and evening routines. And a big part of the grief is, yes, grieving the person, the loss, the heartbreak, but also grieving your routines and the change, huge change that has happened for you. And a big layer of grief is changing those routines, is adjusting to that loss and having the tools to do so. Now, all of this usually leads to your sleep being affected, which also leads to psychological exhaustion. So what's needed? Now, what we do with clients is give them the map to their grief. Now, what this allows you to do is see where you are on that map, where you are on that marathon, and where it is you need to be. And where we want to get all clients to is indifference, completely healed, happy, content, no more overthinking, no more sadness, no more anger, no more numbness, no more thinking of this person 24/7, and excited for their future again. So we need to look at where you are, how far away that is, and what your specific psychology is going to need in between. But all the time sleep is affected and morning and evenings are horrific and you don't have a plan how to change that, it's a constant cycle that just feels like it gets heavier.